what's going on, everybody? Welcome to High Off Blue Hour, and we are going to go over a quick, easy way to clone yourself or somebody else within Davinci Resolve in the editing page. So let's get into Resolve here. Now, I already filmed a kind of quick clip or example of this technique earlier. It's just me standing with a clone of myself in front of two acoustic foam panels. And we're going to kind of go over that process and just how the easy setup for doing that. So some things you want to keep in mind for this particular technique. You want to make sure you have a tripod ideally, but at the very least, you want to make sure you have something that's going to keep your camera stationary, because you want to have very little, you really don't want any movement at all from your camera, but at the very least, you just want to have as little movement as possible. Something else to keep in mind is you want to make sure that you have very even, uniform lighting. This is going to make it easier to kind of combine images and to achieve the final effect. And also keep in mind, this is a very simple cloning technique. This isn't for, say you want to do a scene where two clones had to fight each other or do some sort of physical interaction. This isn't really going to be the technique for that, at least not the complete technique for that. This is just for very simple situations where you're going to have your two clones next to each other but not necessarily touching each other. So keep that in mind. So how did we do this here? So first, what I did is I filmed two clips, two scenes. In the first scene, we're going to look at it here. We're going to scrub through it here in the timeline. The first scene was just me standing on the right side of the screen for about 30 seconds. And I'm just looking around, looking stupid, not really doing anything, just standing there for like 30 seconds, making sure to stay on the right side of the screen, kind of staying in front of one of the acoustic panels, right? And then I took that clip and I placed it on video track number 1. And I'm going to go ahead for now. I'm going to disable that track because we're going to look at the second clip that I filmed. Because I then filmed a second clip. And that clip is just me standing on the other side. I'm now on the left side of the screen. And I'm essentially doing the same thing. Just standing there, making little gestures and goofy, corny faces. Just looking stupid. Just standing there for about 25 to 30 seconds. And then I take that clip and I placed it on video track number 2, directly above or on top of the video clip on video track number 1. And then what I also do though is I cropped that second clip. The clip that's on top, I cropped it. Now, for the purposes of this video, I actually turned the crop off so you could see what the original clip looked like. This is it right here. But I'm going to turn the crop on. And remember the clip, video clip number 1 on video track 1, I have that disabled right now. So when I turn this crop back on, boom, you don't have anything underneath just yet. But you see the crop that gets put on video clip number 2. It basically crops it in half. So you just have me standing here on the left side of the screen. Now, once I turn back on video clip number 1, that first scene that I shot where I'm standing on the right side of the screen, you're going to see that here, and it's basically going to visually combine the two clips. So it looks like I'm standing there next to a clone of myself. So let me go ahead and turn clip number 1, video track 1 back on, and there you have it. And it pretty much just looks like two of me standing there. So instead of one goofy dude standing there looking dumb, you got two of us standing there looking goofy, right? And it's actually a pretty clean setup. Like, it looks relative, that's not a bad clone job right there. Now, there is some movement. There's some subtle movement in the camera I was using for this scene. I shot this on a DJI Pocket 2 and it's on a tripod, but the DJI Pocket 2 I think might have been attempting to do some face tracking type stuff, so I think that might have been part of why there's a little bit of movement in the camera, but it's not too much. It's small enough to where you can still kind of get the clone effect that I was going for here. And yeah, that's basically it. Now I did some final things in the edit where like the clip that's on top, I have it fade in. The scene starts out with just me on the right side of the screen, and then my clone on the left side of the screen kind of fades in and is just standing there. So that's the technique. Very simple technique. This isn't anything new. It's just a very easy, straightforward way to do a very simplified clone job, all right there in the editing page. There's a whole lot of convincing and effective, impressive little tricks and things you can do just right there in the editing page. And one of them is just a very easy way to clone yourself or somebody else. So a very quick review, just make sure you have a tripod, make sure you have very even lighting, and make sure you strategically position yourself or whoever your subject is. Make sure you strategically position them within the video frame so that you can, when you got to do your cropping later on, it makes sense in how the images come together and how they combine and all those type of things. From a position wise, you want your background and all those type of things to be of a condition and of a positioning where it kind of makes the cropping very easy. You see, with this situation, I didn't have to do a lot of stuff. All I really did was just I did a simple crop of one of the videos. I just cropped one of the videos in half and pretty much immediately got a rather convincing clone job out of that. So I hope this kind of was easy to follow. I hope you kind of get the gist of what the technique is like. It is a very simple technique, but I'm not sure if I'm necessarily explaining it in the clearest fashion, but I think you get the gist of it. So hopefully this video helped you out if you were kind of looking for maybe some creative techniques to try. I do think this is kind of like a beginner thing. I think most people who have been messing around with Resolve for a significant time kind of already know this move and kind of could already kind of figure out how to get to this point. But maybe this is something that maybe if you haven't thought about it, now you have something to maybe mess around with, give you some ideas on maybe some things you can do in future videos. So that's the video, you guys. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.